House rules. I know you heard of them. Clean the house, wash the dishes. I'm not talking about those house rules though. I'm talking about Dungeons and Dragons house rules today. But there's a lot of rules in D&D. Do we need all of them? Or can we just homebrew it? We can. And today I'm going to be talking about some beta house rules we're going to be using to get ready for the Mary 3 campaign, our first campaign, which was helped by Worldsmith, which I'll talk about later, because I have a cool word to talk about them. And we're gonna get started right now. Hi everybody, it's Yuki today here on Yuki Productions and Tabletop Tales. And we're gonna be talking about the house rules, the beta house rules of the Mary 3, our first campaign thanks to Worldsmith. Talk about Worldsmith later. House rules are there to help you as a dungeon master make it more fun and enjoyable for your table. And not all house rules are going to be created equal. So I'm going to share mine based on our campaign, which is coming up starting very soon on on Tabletop Tales and Yuki Productions. So let's get started. Number one, and it has to deal with natural 20s and natural 1s. First up, the natural 20. Everybody's favorite thing to roll is a natural 20. Critical hit, critical success. I do this. Bonus damage. For our campaign, thanks to the community, you guys voted for damage plus 5. So, whatever the dice roll is, I'm going to add 5 to that total. So, for example, if my dagger was a d4 plus 1, and I rolled a 4 and I got a 20 on the check, not only do I add 5 to that. So 4 plus 1 because of the bonus, 5 plus 5 more because of crit. That's a 10. That's 10 damage on the rip, off the rip right there. That could be huge damage down the line. But what happens if you go the opposite way? Natural 1. Well, a few things can happen. I will have a roll table I'm going to be making for this campaign. On a natural 1, I will roll d6 or d8 or something around those lines. The punishment, you never know what's going to be the punishment. It's going to be interesting. Punishments include I have to draw from the deck of mischief, which I'll talk about in a moment. Okay, or I could take away a blessing card, which I'll also talk about in a moment, or I can take away HP. The D6 or the D8 will determine that. I will have a roll table, and it's going to be nasty. Well, not too nasty because this is the first campaign, but you get my point. Number two, the blessing deck and the mischief deck. This are flashcards. What is this? The blessing deck. Or also the mischief deck, but this is the blessing deck. What do they have? Blessings, good things, some good things, a lot of good things actually. So how does this mechanic work? Each player, except for myself, because I'm also DM, is going to get 2 cards to use at the start of the combat. So let's say I'm playing as some guy, some wizard. I get 2 cards to use on my turn, and I get to use them at any time in the combat. Let's see what I got. I got an HP heal card and 2 bonus cards. So I'm going to redeem this right away. I can get my 2 bonus cards. Yes, I understand. I say you can only have up to 2 cards, but if you get a card that says you can have more, you can have more. Okay, put that back in the deck. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Let's see what my 2 cards are. We have a pop-up shop, which I'll talk about in a moment, and we have a check plus 5. which adds 5 to my to a check for myself or an ally. And then we have the pop-up shop card, which I'll talk about in a moment because there's a house rule I want to try out with this. So that's the blessing deck. The mischief deck is the same thing, but with the opposite effect of the bad things. For example, I have a reduced AC card, which says which says AC of the player drops by D4 for one turn only. Meaning, let's say the AC is 17, but I roll D4 as a DM, and it's a 4. 17 minus 4 is 13. So the AC of the player is 13 for that one turn. Easier to hit, but I'm gonna tell you, watch out, those cards can come into play. So that's the blessing deck, and that's the mischief deck. And the mischief deck could be going with number one, which was the natural 20 and natural one, punishment. Number three is going to be a rule borrowed from another system called Nimble 5e, and that is called the interpose action. So the interpose action allows you to save or protect from an ally being hit. For example, in Nimble rules, you would use an action point on defense to protect an ally. Put yourself in that box, that square where the ally is. Move the ally 5 feet either behind you or adjacent square where there's nobody occupying that square and protect them from this the damage turn. You must declare it on that turn. Now normally on Nimble, you use one action, but you also lose that action on your next turn. So normally you would start with three, but because you use that action to interpose, you're down to two. Or one in some cases. So what's going to happen here on this game is we're going to try it. We're going to see how it works. So they're going to use one action point to interpose and take the attack for the ally. Now, I have here, and you must skip your next turn, okay, for this to work. We'll see if they like that. If not, I'll take it away because I'm thinking about what players would like. But any advantages or disadvantages, or any bonuses or debonuses, will be carrying over to that next turn that the player takes. All right, we'll be back to house rules in just a quick moment. But I would like to say thank you to our new partners and new friends at Worldsmith who allowed me to be an affiliate with them very recently. What is Worldsmith? Worldsmith is the reason why the Mary 3 is about to exist. And Worldsmith allows you as a dungeon master, either new or veteran, who needs a last minute encounter or a last minute magic spell or a last minute monster. Let's say that it's Thursday night at 7 and you are on time at your table, but you forgot one critical element. No pun intended. But let's say you forgot one critical roll of an element in your game, and that is an encounter. Worldsmith allows you to create an encounter right off the rip on worldsmith.io. And making an account is free. You generate everything that you need for your game, print it out, have some fun, edit that thing to your liking. And when you're happy, save it, print it, and you're at the table. How much is it? Free for the first 7 days. But if you make an account and you want to support the channel, make sure you use my link in the description below and you'll be able to make your account. And if you like it a lot, you can upgrade to their premium packages at $5 per month, or if you would like, $35 per year. You get everything that you would normally get on a premium, even on the $35 a year on plan. From maps, generators, and upcoming generators, it's all there for you. Roadsmith, let them help you be a DM. And now back to house rules. So once again, thanks to Worldsmith for not only helping me out as a creator, but helping you guys out as DMs. Back to house rules. Number 4, action economy. The action economy in D&D is usually 2 actions at most. For the most part, it's 1 action if you're just going to attack. Obviously, in D&D, you have bonus actions, but for ours, we're going to have 2 fixed actions unless otherwise stated. And here's some quirks. Movement. Our players are going to be allowed to move 1 time for free. Let's say they're up to 30 feet. They're allowed to move 1 time for free. So let's say they move 10 feet on their first movement action. Then they attack. So they use 1 action point already. On the second time they want to move, it's going to cost another action point, but they can move up to their speed, which is 30 feet. So we moved 10 feet already, then we attacked. We're down to 20 feet. So the next movement can only go up to 20 feet. So they move up to 15 feet for like a stealth play. But that's their action. That's their action point. Because they already used 1 to attack and um, 1 to move on a second time. We also have another part of the action of the movement, and that is the other stuff. Attacking is only 1. Items will not cost anything. Items, same thing as movement. The first item they use is free of charge, no action points. But their second action is going to cost 1 action point, and then the third item is going to cost 2 action points, 1 more action point, I should say. It's not progressive, so it's not like 1, 0, 1, 3. That's progressive. It's just going to cost 1 additional 1 point of action every subsequent. Now, what about blessing cards? Because they are used in this campaign. The blessing cards have a unique quirk. Each blessing card could have a different cost to play. For example, I don't have them listed here because I made this cards like around 4 years ago and never got to use them until today, until this week. So I never came up with a actual cost. But let's say that the HP heal card costs 1 action. So I use it. That's my action. So I can only move and attack or attack. That's 2 action points already used. So you have to use these puppies wisely. Or sometimes I could say it costs 2 action points. Let's say the check plus 5 card will cost 2. That's my action because you only have 2 action points. I can use this as somebody else. Now, this idea is coming from a game called Demio, which is a VR game that looks like Dungeons and Dragons for VR. They have a card system where you get 2 action points and some cards cost 1 action point to play. So that's where my inspiration for that house rule is. And number 5, the last house rule is we are going to be using the idea of buying blessings. So I mentioned a card called the pop-up shop earlier. I'm going to talk about this in a moment. But first, I'm going to say that for 1 action point, you can buy blessings at 30 gold, 15 gold, or some price. Some average price point. I'm trying for this combat. This is more of a test run. So they will have 100 gold to spend, but it's more of a test run to see if they like the idea. When we start the real campaign, though, there's going to be a fixed price. So in Paper Mario, if you play Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, you know that in the badge shop they have random badges that are sold by the shopkeeper. So same thing here. I'm gonna draw 5 cards in front of me when playing, and then what's gonna happen is the player who's shopping for the blessing cards is going to pick a card one, two, three, four, or five at 15 gold apiece. Let's just say, for example. So the player has 45 gold, enough, exactly enough for 3 cards. They do not know what is inside of the card because it's right here. I'm on the table. The player chooses card number 3, card number 5, and card number 2. I put the other 2 cards back into the blessing deck. All right. And now I'm going to shuffle those again because they could be used again in a future turn or future shop. And then I'm going to read what they got. So let's just say the first card is a wild card. Reduce enemy HP by 5, replace this card with a new card, or add 1d20 HP to yourself or another player. The second card they bought is a savior card. Allows your character to take damage instead of your ally. Full damage must be taken unless you always have the half damage card. Declare before use. This looks like interposing. The third card is an attack plus 5. Add 5 attack power to this current attack. So they have the option to keep them all to themselves or share the cards with another player. Alright? Whatever card they use, I'm gonna put those in the notepad. And I'm gonna shuffle these cards again just so that I have space on my table. Okay? Now, I mentioned another card earlier. Excuse me, before I mention that card again, I would like to announce that that particular shop is a one-time use for the encounter. That's it. If you use it, it's one action point, but you can only use it one time for the entire encounter, and it requires one action point. And it's for the entire encounter, no other player can use it. So you better be very careful if you want to use it right away. Now I want to talk about that other card I mentioned, and that is called the pop-up shop card that I got earlier. This puppy allows you to open the shop like normal for free, no action point. So this is basically open the shop right away. Now it's still going to cost 15 gold per card, but you do not lose an action point. This could be useful in case of emergency. This is a get out of jail free card if you forgot to buy items or blessings. This is for that. All right? Now, how about if you have multiple of those? Well, guess what? You get to open it again if you needed to. But reminder, you can only use the regular action point shop one time. If you have a pop-up shop card, you can use that as many as you have. But once you run out of those, sorry, there's no more shopping for you for for this encounter. What happens on the next encounter? Depending on how to deal with it, It could be, again, this rule can be changed. It could be every encounter you are allowed to buy to get one action point to shop, or or one session, or one episode, or one day of adventure. So this can be still tweaked out as we prepare to play. And remember, the green box of doom is here. So you never know what the rule is. You never know. All right? So those are my house rules. Let me know which one you like, don't like, or maybe you should have changed. We're going to try these rules out with our warm up battle. Now, keep in mind, whatever happens in the warm up battle does not count for the campaign. It is just simply there to allow our players to learn the rules, mechanics, dice rolls, all that. Okay, so that's what that's there for. And then when we start the real thing, we're gonna go use these house rules. We're gonna be testing the house rules very soon. So let me know what you guys think. Oh, and today's question of the day is, what's your favorite house rules that you like to implement at your own game? Let me know in the comments below. And once again, I want to say thank you again to Worldsmith for supporting me as a creator, and I would like to thank them also for allowing me to be part of their affiliation program. Enjoy, and we will see you very soon on the tabletop, where we're going to become the Merry Three. May your rolls be critical, and as always, is it Thursday yet?